Well, they must understand, and I don't have any personal illusions, and I haven't had any personal illusions in regard to TAFE funding for quite a long time. And for many years, towards the end of my career in TAFE, I was quite fearful of what the story was going to be for fine arts education. Not fearful for myself, but fearful for young people who were going through that form of education, and also for the staff involved as well. But I saw our college, from a staff of 6 full-time teachers and some very highly valued part-time staff, practicing their studios and coming in during the week and working with us. But I saw that go down through attrition and through various other malfunctions within the system in TAFE to 2 full-time staff members and 1 head teacher, Christine Casali. And I know how difficult, on an everyday basis, how difficult it is to run a department, run with new initiatives, and to also do that with only 2 staff and then wonderful part-time staff. So it gets harder. And I hear that one person told me today when I first arrived that it's likely that a photography might lose their staff member at St George in the coming weeks. That will mean it's just because I left. I left, well, because it was time for me to go. But if that person's gone, it will only be, as Matt Tomes said, a head teacher doing all the initiatives, coming in there early, leaving it late, dealing with everyone's emails. And what sort of art school or fine arts training is that? She won't have the support. She has adequate, really wonderful support from some part-time members of staff at the moment, but it's a very hard job and it makes it harder, and that's what really is the sad thing for the staff. But also it's very sad for students. Of course, the story started a long time ago, a very long time ago, when people were being mentored by elders as they worked on drawings and drawing a line in the sand, and simple communications developed between human beings as they came on through thousands of years, and language skills, and then wanting to be able to describe their emotions and their feelings and communicate through visually. The early giant bird, Geniormus, in the Northern Territory Arnhem Land, painted perhaps maybe the first watercolour in the world on some rock overhangs, inaccessible, really hard to get to, but quite a long time ago, predating a lot of European artworks. So there was always this thing, and it was more than just going to course and learning. It's always seen the fine arts as an integral part of a community and their relationships with each other, and informing each other of their stories and their past, as well as their understanding and passing stories on in the oral manner of the Aboriginals that we know so well. And also the first nomadic people here grinding ampule shapes into rocks in the West Kimberley, which were discovered recently and predate or about the same time as some of the Indian works that were happening. But apart from that, so it's a long tradition in the arts, and you all know that. But the benefits to art education in TAFE were, and it was one that I dearly loved and cherished and found one of the most rewarding things of a teaching career right throughout my career, was that the individuals who fell through the gap, who didn't get into university and were accepted by TAFE, for the individuals had learning disabilities or other personal problems, as many young people do. Not everyone comes formed from high school to go on as a very confident and forward-moving individual. Many people take time to mature and gain those strengths and confidence themselves, and TAFE gave that to them. They gave them so much wonderful, you know this, one-on-one education in skills and skill learning. And then, of course, when they got to university, they were already skilled. The universities now will not have that delivery of students coming to them. They'll also not have the number of people from TAFE who've gone through and become celebrated professional artists exhibiting in major galleries right across the nation and overseas. They'll also not have the level and the abundance of people who have come through skill learning TAFE fine arts courses and then have gone on to work in many, many different fields, a very wide area of people from the fine arts going on and working in the community, from people in charge of sort of wardrobe departments in major theatre companies, to young people setting up their own galleries, their own community groups and their own workshops and things, and going on into a great range of different areas, even IT and design and graphics and things. So all that will be something that's quite sort of lost within the community. Over 120 years of Sydney Institute history and teaching and students, and also in Newcastle and other colleges around the state, it'll be gone. And that will be a great shame. It'll be a great shame that so many full-time staff and part-time staff members will not have jobs. People who have mortgages, very often people who are working, Matt Tome and I were talking about this earlier, people who are working in TAFE, fine arts courses, very often have a partner who's also working in TAFE fine arts courses, and both of their incomes will be gone. So it's a very sad, it's a very dangerous position for families across the state to be in. What resources? Last week, what resources does a community have, and what tells us what a part of a great civilization and what a real community of people in the modern era are? We are abundantly resourced in Australia. I had a meeting with regard to a Taiwan Australia watercolour exhibition with the from Canberra, the representative for the Taiwan government here, and I'll talk later. And on Thursday and Friday with their office both in Canberra and in Sydney. And while I knew that they are our 6th largest trading partner, Taiwan, while I was organising this exhibition with their people, I asked Mr. Chi, excuse me, I'm sorry about this, Mr. Chi, hello? I'll ring you back, Dad. It's Dad. He's 94 and he's wondering why I haven't rung, because I ring every night. But anyway, that's life. So, Mr. Yuri Chi from the Canberra office, I said to him, what are your great resources? I've been twice to Taiwan, and I know your fine arts university courses and everything, and I know a lot of your professors working there, and what wonderful people they are, and how skilled. And I know that you have a very big flower exporting, and that you have a big exporting of tropical fruits because of your position in the world and geographic position. And I know you've got a lot of granite on that island of Taiwan. And I said, but what's your greatest resource? And he said, our people. And he said, quite early the Republic of China decided that it was going to be people because they, like Japan, they didn't have a lot of resources that we think of in terms of gas and mining and coal and everything that this other countries seem so, and uranium that they seem so blessed with. And he said, we realised that our people were going to be our biggest and greatest resource. So he said, our government has always sent our young people overseas to learn, to be skilled, to universities, to every form of education and every form of experience to make our country grow. And he said, as a result, our IT areas are one of our big resources, and also our visual arts, because they inform the rest of the community and they are an important part of our community. So I found that really a wonderful statement to come out from one of their government people from Canberra, representing them here in Australia. And that's what it is. And we've got to see ourselves, and I know the former, I'll finish, our former speakers have all talked about these things, but we should be seeing ourselves as very serious people and a part of the economy of this country, and the fact that we actually enable young people to have a confident and life to go on with. Thank you very much.